Welcome, my friends, and here we are on a beautiful Monday afternoon. A little chilly today. Maybe it's going to warm up one of these days. Tomorrow may be 30. Christ, that's great, huh? 30. Woo!
Hey,
Look at
happy St. Pat.
Yeah, look at him.
Top of the morning to you. May the wind always be at your back.
Instead of on your ass.
We got some green
bleep
beer
that.
coming in. Bring it right in again.
You're looking good.
Oh,
That's quite a
Eddie.
thing.
happy St. Pat's, Ed.
Happy St.
And
Pat.
Joe.
Yeah.
Thank
My
you.
mother.
Thank you. I appreciate being the token
And if
Italian.
you're not a good
Yeah.
The
boy,
token Italian
You
on
gotta-
the show
you gotta-
today.
You gotta have an Italian on St. Patrick's Day. You have to. It's a rule. All right. So this is a beautiful situation. We got the assistant superintendent for finance and operations or something like that. But I just say, Joe Elia is a very, very popular young man in the city of Woburn. He's worked in the school department a long time, knows what he's doing. I just call him the vice president in charge of money.
yeah, and plus he runs the show.
He runs the show.
Oh, I don't think that.
You got the checkbook.
Checkbook. Somebody told me one time, say, you got a 55-gallon drum over next to his desk, and you go in there and you say, can I do this here, do that there? And he said, yeah, wait a minute. Wait, I get down there.
Pennies, some pennies in
Gives
there.
them some money, and that's
Pretty much.
out
Yeah,
the door. That's the way
it's pretty
to do
easy
it,
that
huh?
way, yeah. It's a lot easier to do that.
After you've done 100 budgets, is it just get easier? Does it get easier? But when you get
yeah.
got down there, I mean,
No,
you gotta.
It gets easier to put them together.
Put
The
'em
problem
together.
is making sure that you can build a case to get the money.
Money.
I mean, if you can't build a case, if you can't let the mayor know and let the city council know what you're really trying to do, then,
But
you
let me just interrupt for 1 minute. Now, this government we operate now, this isn't sustainable. Like he talks about the insurance as being not sustainable.
no.
You know, I mean, sooner or later, as we discussed this many times, the government's going to run. You just get, what's going to happen when the budget's $300 million?
Well, just look at those big cities
We'll
out
have
in
to
the
go-
Midwest and the West that you can't do it anymore.
That's it. So I don't know how we do it. We haven't raised taxes or done anything here since Scott became mayor, and the budget's gone up $10 million.
We've been pretty fortunate.
Yeah.
To
And
be honest.
we got a city full of businesses, and
You get a great commercial base in this city.
unbelievable.
You know,
and
you go-
still, it's going up.
Yep.
All right. But we said water meters were coming, and it took a long time, but I think this is what's going to happen with the insurance. It's going to be the same thing. Ultimately, they're going to have to go that way because they just can't afford, or we, the taxpayers, and the taxpayers who live in the city, of school teachers, yourself, and all this, just can't afford to pay that kind of money for the insurance. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be, I think that you'll see some communities are going 70-30. Some of them are going 60-40, and Winchester tried to do 50-50, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that that's the answer 50-50, but I think that there has to be some movement. And you have to get, as I said to you, the bigger the plan. I'm in GIC.
Yep.
And I mean, I don't have any trouble with it yet.
Yeah.
But it's a big pool. There's just more
Sure.
people. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people. It's the whole Commonwealth, which would make
Yeah, but
it
it's
a
the
cheaper premium.
It's the same argument that Obama uses for his. You got to have the young, healthy kids to pay for us old guys.
Exactly. And
You know what I mean?
and
So
they're
now
not
they're
signing
saying,
up for
wait a
that
minute, when I
plan.
was 21, I would have said, you
Who needs insurance?
Huh?
At 21. I don't need it.
No, you don't need it.
Nothing's
no.
going to happen to me.
That's right. That's right. So
I mean, when I
therefore,
came
you
into
don't-
the school system, it was 90-10. Now it's 80-20.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even
For the-
50-50
for the
is
staff
not,
members,
even 50-50 is no big, that isn't going to last either. So, I mean, if they want to negotiate it down to 50-50, then you wait 4 or 5 years, and then the next mayor or Scott, somebody's going to say, look, that isn't working. It's costing too much money. I got to raise the taxes. And ultimately, I guess the bottom line is that the residents or taxpaying voter in the city of Woburn is going to say, all right, that's it. You got to go over to the state, and maybe we get 10 years out of that, and just keep going. I don't know.
All right, so let's get on with this
All right,
program.
get on with the program. All right. Over the next 2 years, Change is Simple offers environmental education in the schools. Now, this is an operation funded by the Cummings Corporation Foundation, and they do this down in Beverly, and then they do it last year and this year in the elementary schools to get some of the children interested in math and science. So in the future, we'll be able to get some engineers and stuff. So that's about all there is to that.
How much money is that, Joe? Does he do it?
I think it's 100.
Hundred
Yeah, it was
thousand?
100, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 100 too. But they're in every third, fourth, and fifth grade, so you spread
Yeah,
that
they-
around, what's it, about 10 grand a class or
Yeah,
something?
but, you know, there's a lot they can do with that
Yeah.
in the individual schools, or the individual grades, so.
You want 4-year term for mayor, city council, and school committee?
I want 4-year term for mayor.
Yeah.
I will discuss 4 years for alderman at large. Absolutely not for ward alderman. Absolutely not. And I think the school committee has the right way there. The top 2 vote getters
two.
get 4 years. The closest person to your government is your alderman. He's got the tire on the road. And so if he's not doing a good job in 2 or 4 years,
You can't even find out where the bathroom is in 2 years.
I
They
know.
all stay, they all get reelected, they
well,
stay there for
McLaughlin
years.
was there a year and a half. He didn't know where the men's room when he got elected mayor.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he
That-
didn't
so
know where the
if-
men's room upstairs was
Maybe,
either.
maybe if they made it 4 years, we get a better crew.
I agree on 4 years for the mayor.
Yeah,
My mind is made up. I agree with 4 years, and I agree with probably in the 90s for.
But we're not gonna save any
salary.
money on elections with you, so forget that.
Yeah.
We're go- you know, yeah, that
like 4
idea,
years.
that idea is dead.
For everybody,
Forget
Joe?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
4 years.
And you
for
really
everything.
can't get anything done in 2 years. I mean, you basically have a year, you get in,
You make a
feeling your
budget.
way around,
Yeah.
you got about a year where you can really do something, then you gotta run for election.
So you
again.
say
It's
every
like
office holder 4
every
years?
office, 4 years.
Sure, put them in there. I mean, I think, I like the argument on somebody, I think it was the new Alderman at large, come up with the idea that he want term limits. But I think, my personal opinion is that term limits are 4 years. You could 4 years. You do a good job in 4, we'll put you in for 4 more. But if you didn't, gone, you're out. So that's term limits right there. So I don't think we have to say you do 3 terms or 12 years and then you have to retire. Guy's 12 years old. Nobody does that. Nobody's lasted that long.
Well, Rabbit did, and Kane did.
Rabbit was 12 years?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yes, he did. He did. I think
I
about
thought he was
14.
like
Committee members
10.
that lasted
Huh?
longer than that, school committee members.
Yeah,
School committee,
Oh, yeah,
oh,
Joe
yeah.
Crowley, well, he did what, 20 years, didn't he?
Yeah,
Or more?
God alone, it's Mr. and Mrs. They must have 40
Yeah,
years
they were-
between them.
Yeah, they had a long time.
Yeah.
And Carl
There's
Torres.
pictures all over
Carl
the place.
Torres.
For the
Carl
kids, for
Torres,
the kids.
For the kids,
Yep.
yeah. You got a gym name for him for doing that.
Yeah.
All right. Council outlines hiring process. City auditor job opening posted in 2 weeks.
I'm in, I'll send my resume down.
Yeah. Go ahead, don't say it. That's on you now. Your wife is saying, I'll be that. Don't come home for
She'll
supper
shoot me.
tonight. Yeah. Yeah.
Joe,
So I think they started with 10, excuse me, 10.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're gonna, 10 or more, then they're gonna get it down to 10, the human resources lady, and then they get it down to 5, this is the way I understand it, they get 5, and then they do a little more research on those 5, then those 5 come back in, and they get that down to 2, and then they vote on it, one of them.
It's a city council appointment.
Right.
And
Yeah.
let me just say this to you. Over the years that you have been where you are, which is what, 14, 15 now?
Finishing up 15.
Don't say
15.
that.
No, sorry, 16.
Oh, yeah, 16.
Yep.
Did you have a good working relationship with Jerry Surratt?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. Did
He and I went to high school together.
Yeah, oh, you did?
Yeah, we ran track. You can't tell that now. But we
You did, I
we ran
didn't
track
know.
Really,
So
together,
you graduated high school?
Yeah, he was a year behind me.
And did you learn from him anything, or did he learn from
no,
you?
I think we both learned from each other, but, I mean, a lot of the people that were down there, like Jerry and Bill McGowan and those
Yeah.
guys, I mean, they taught me a lot.
Now,
because I hadn't been in municipal government.
Would you apply for that job?
No,
You will not.
No.
So we take your name right out.
take my name out.
To the members of the city council, Joe Elia is not going to
No.
apply. You're going to
No.
apply. Eddie Walker is. Though.
I might apply, but I don't, I can add 2 and 2, but I don't know. There's a lot more to it than that, I think. Like you say, Paul, show me.
Jerry Surratt.
Jerry Surratt, 30
Now,
years. and-
over the mayors, the thing, it goes back to Higgins.
Did he go
Just
back
think,
that far?
yes,
No, he was appointed by,
I was on the city council.
yeah,
so-
but it wasn't, it was.
Was
the
it Ed
old-
Gilgun?
It was Gilgun, yeah.
Ed Gilgun?
Ed
yep.
Gilgun?
Yeah, Ed Gilgun,
Now-
but he was only there for a minute.
We would bring him in on the city council and we would talk to him, and I tell you, I mean, I liked Jerry. And I think he was a hell of a, I happened to vote for him, so he's one of,
He's a
he
pretty
turned out
smart
to be a
guy.
good appointment.
Yeah.
It was a close vote, it was a 5-4 vote.
Really?
Yeah, so Meaney voted for him, so I figure he owes me, you know?
Wow.
So anyways, looking at this, Jerry would look at figures on the budget and say, I am looking, I'm saying, what is that? What
Sorry.
is that? And then Jerry would say, no, they meet. They meet.
Yeah.
Over the years, I got to give him credit for what he has
Yeah,
done.
he's
You
good.
know,
I- That's my fault.
Sports, my dear. Stephanie.
Hello folks and welcome once again to Sports. As always, I'm your host Ray Newcomb, and today we will be looking at various topics from around the world of sports. First, we move to the NBA, where the Philadelphia 76ers were defeated yet again by the Grizzlies by means of a 103-77 loss. This loss is yet another in a host of defeats dealt to the subpar Sixers as of late. In fact, it is a record-breakingly terrible event, as this is the Sixers' 20th straight loss this season. It's the first time the team has lost 20 straight since 1973. Elsewhere in the NBA, there was a miracle in Detroit as the Pacers rallied back from a 25-point deficit against the Pistons to win in OT. The miraculous 112-104 victory was nothing short of amazing. In the NHL, it was 2 days of victory in Philadelphia as the Flyers took on their in-state nemesis, the Pittsburgh Penguins, in a 2-game series. Philadelphia asserted their dominance in the first game of the double series by shutting down the Pens 4-0. Then, the Broad Street Bullies struck again, defeating the Penguins 4-3 a day later. If only the Sixers could have such luck. Frustrations were high in Los Angeles on Saturday as the Kings battled the Ducks in a West Coast standoff. After a close game in the third period, they began with a 2-1 deficit in favor of the Ducks. However, Martin Gabrick was able to put in what he believed was a clean goal in the final minutes of the third. The officials saw it differently, though, calling goalie interference and discounting the goal, allowing the Ducks to walk away with the 2-1 victory. Kings fans were obviously peeved with the official's decision, even going as far to throw garbage on the ice in protest in the final minutes of the third. In one of the stranger headlines to come out of the hockey world this week, fans of the Idaho Steelheads hockey team are suing the team's home arena in Boise, claiming that they were deceived into believing that large beer sold at the stadium concession stand contained more brew than a small. However, after comparison, the fans discovered that both of the cups, though different in shape, both contain the same amount of beer. The angry hockeygoers are looking for $10,000 in damages. Well, that's all for today, folks. For sports, I'm Ray Newcomb. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of the show, and have a great St. Patrick's Day.
All right, good job, Rain. Rain's a good
He's a
guy. I
good
wonder what
kid.
he was talking about today. I wasn't paying attention. All right, so let's go to the weather and see what these dopes got today. Now, if you were watching Channel 7 or 5 or 4 and you were watching the weather, there'd be some babe up there pointing at all the numbers, telling you what
Yeah.
the wind, the rain, and everything is going on. Look at, we got little squares there, and it doesn't look too bad.
We-
52, 46, that's not bad. What day is that? Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah. Eddie, we got the guys down in Medford.
The Medford on the roof.
On the roof,
Yeah,
Medford.
yeah.
That's our weather guys.
Yeah, they're on the roof. They fly a kite up in the morning. See, then it comes down and they say, oh, okay. All right, thank you, Miss
Can't shut the heat off, Ed.
Jennifer Gatta, yeah. No, can't shut the heat off.
Can't shut the heat off.
No. That's another thing with the Swedes. She wants it to be warm. I said, you come from a country that's cold. You put a sweater on. Come on. God, the gas bill. All right, Paul. Dragon Court, Lytron, they're looking good?
Tomorrow night, we've got a public hearing, as you know. There's been some good negotiations with the city council and Lytron. And I lit a candle yesterday and I got my fingers crossed.
Now, two were not going to vote.
Two will
At
not
least
vote.
7.
We need 6.
Five.
I
You
would
need
say
5.
6. No, I say 6.
I thought it said 5 in the paper.
Well, the
And
paper's
anyway,
not always,
that
we're
doesn't
correct.
even,
The
so then,
paper's
now
wrong.
they go to upstairs, back up to the planning board
No.
guy. Because it's gonna be not required, what's
Yeah,
that?
and
thing
it's
called?
a covenant, we're gonna put a covenant.
all
Joe Tarby's the attorney.
Oh, the new guy in
Two can't
town.
vote.
Con Cannon doesn't wanna vote because
He wasn't there in the
He was
beginning.
there at,
Oh,
in
I
the
see.
beginning, and
Mrs.
Mrs.
Broom
Brune.
is against it.
Mrs. Brune is against it, but,
Because she votes, that's her ward.
so we need 6, I say 6 out of,
Okay, 6
7.
out of 7.
that's
That's
like
pretty
hitting a
hard to
grand
do.
slam in the ninth to win a
Yeah.
ball game, so.
Yeah.
I'm confident, I'm like this,
This won't take a minute, but the representative from the 30th Middlesex District, he's pushing.
who is it?
Yeah, I forget. What is, Dwyer! Dwyer! So does the speaker. So him and the speaker are agreeing on giving
Minimum wage.
Yeah, so that ought to fly pretty good, huh? All right, 5 or 6 day cycle. Now, they're having a big to-do with the state government, Department of Education, relative to the children taking gym, because they want the kids to be physically fit and all that stuff. So we don't do it particularly right in the city of Woburn. So we're going to try and change things around in that. It doesn't make any difference. Girls don't want to take gym. They won't do it. They'll be sick. They won't get out of bed. They say, Dad, I can't do it, can't do it. I get all dressed up, I do my hair, I get the makeup on, I gotta go.
Oh, you know my
First
daughter.
period, gym, yeah. They say, first period, gym. You can't take a shower, you can't, blah, 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 blah. I'll go late, but I'm not taking gym, okay. So I thought they would eliminate gym, but now they want it more. They want to take more gym. Because the kids are getting a little bit on the big side, I guess. I don't know why, but. All right, okay. A new position in the middle school for the principals want a guidance position scheduled for $53,648. Don't sound like a lot of money, Joe.
No, it's, we budget them at master's level, step 4 probably. You know, they've got a heavy workload compared to the other districts around, and you know, there's a lot of kids that have a lot of issues,
How can you-
home issues, school issues.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing.
I don't know
amount
how
of
you can
kids.
see how many kids in that middle school over there? That Joyce said?
They're both around the same size, around 580, 590.
1,000
She
kids.
couldn't spend a minute with each kid, you know what I mean?
Well, it's tough. I mean, you want to deal with the ones that really have some severe problems and having some
We,
issues.
we used to just have the nurse, Eddie. Go down and see the nurse.
Yeah, now it's
You know,
totally different now.
I'm not feeling good, and, you
Yeah.
know, it's down and see the nurse. You'd sit down and talk to the nurse, and she was really like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so they each
You
have
know,
1.5.
help 'em.
They want to add one so that both schools can have 2.
Yeah. I forget who was, I think O'Brien was a guidance counselor when I was here. He just got out of Tufts, I think. And he was a school teacher there. He became a guidance counselor.
Right, he was up
Might
at
have
high
been him.
school.
Or Mr. Ring. There was a guy
Timmy
named
Ring was
Now,
guidance
is that his
counselor.
kid that's the chief of I asked somebody else this.
No,
Yeah.
I
No?
don't think so.
the fire
don't
chief
think
came
so.
from right here on Montville
Yeah.
Avenue.
I think Timmy,
Yeah, oh,
Timmy
he
Ring,
did?
I
Yeah,
think he
right here.
lived in, I thought he lived
Yeah.
in Stoneham
Oh, I don't
when
know.
he was in the school system.
But I went down there and said, Mr. Walker, yes, sir. Dr. Brennan. I said, yes. He said, go down to guidance office. Go down there. There's a closet. You're in there. You look at your paperwork. Say, okay, join the Marine Corps. That's it for you. Bye. Yeah, oh, that's right, too. All right, what else we got? All right, the fire department wants to buy a new command car, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah.
Because the captain, now let me explain this to the people who are watching. The captain, there's a captain on every shift. And the chief, of course, works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because every time there's a fire, he get some way, they call him up, or he get the radio, and he knows. So when there's a good-sized fire, he goes. Now, the captain is stationed right now in Central Square. Now, he goes out on a truck. So if something happens in the west side, he has to just communicate with them by phone or radio. So now if they buy a car, he can go down, jump in the car, and he can go over there to the west side, North Woburn, or wherever it is. So that gives them a senior officer there to make decisions as far as whether it's a 2-alarm fire or whatever. So I think it's a good
Yeah,
idea
makes
for
sense. What
for
are
a
they
captain
doing?
to have.
Are they doing anything about a fire station? Are they talking about that?
Not yeah, they're talking about
It's
it.
on, it's on the, it will say it's on the to-do list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's on the mayor's to-do list, the fire station.
that's
Yeah, I don't get, I
They
don't
need
know.
that. big.
They'll cause big trouble, boy. Trying to move a fire station, that's like
Oh,
trying to
yeah, I
move.
know.
Because people want that fire truck there, they want there. Now, it's been there for 50 years. I know if there's a problem, or my husband or wife gets sick, or the kids, they'll run across the street, you know what I mean, or within a couple of 100 yards, they want that truck there. They don't want it to move. They don't want it moved away.
Well, I think Central Square was gonna go, Eddie.
It's gonna go, where you gonna go with it? Put it
I
in
don't
the
know.
school. Let's have it part of the school, the new Wyman School.
Put it up there.
Yeah, we'll put it right there. Jeez, they'll be thinking, you must be drunk today, Walker. What's the story with that? All right, that takes care of this. Okay, let's get whacking this.
All right,
Give me that
listen.
cake.
Oh,
Joe,
gonna beat me up?
Joe, a couple of things. I know you're probably gonna go through this with the city council, and I know that the superintendent will go through it with the mayor. The budget's up $3.5 million and 21 new employees.
Actually, I happen to have those statistics
Oh,
with
that's
me.
what we want.
He's
That's
kind of
what we want.
prepared, you see?
The budget is up $3.5 million,
Yep.
and it is up 4, 5. Not 21, but probably about 16, 17 positions.
Okay.
Now, do we expect to get all those positions? Would love to, but no, I mean, you know, this is the budget we put together based on the information we got from all the department heads and the principals.
Yeah.
We gave it to the school committee because, you know, let them know, these are the things that everybody's asking for. You know, are some of the things gonna get pushed off to a later year? Probably. You know, that's the expectation. But there are some positions that we wanna try and hold firm on, that are critical to, you know, the structure, the teaching structure, and the students in the buildings.
What about attrition? Does that count?
We've already got that planned in the budget. We've
That's
probably
already
got
taken
about
care of.
20 to 25 staff members that are leaving. Obviously, most of them are teachers, but
Yeah.
yeah, we've already got that planned in the budget.
That, let's talk about that assistant principal at the Reeves School. Assistant principal, right?
Yeah,
Is that the only elementary school will have that?
Right, that's our biggest elementary school. It's almost the size of the middle schools. Yeah.
As far as
Population, yeah.
population.
Yeah.
And I asked you earlier, I'll ask you again, there's no reason other than what, the people having more children?
Yeah, I would, you know, I would say so. Are people moving into the district with, you know,
With kids?
Kids, or, you know, they might be a young couple moving in that's planning on having a number of kids. So, yeah, that's our biggest growth area right now.
What about, I know you know, you read Newton. Newton has 22 languages they speak. You got any idea how many different nationalities are in the elementary schools?
There's over 40, I think, up at the high school.
Really, huh? 40. So therefore,
Yeah.
if we have one kid, we have to hire a teacher, or will we ship him to
If they don't
Winchester to
speak
go-
English, we have to prepare them to, with an ESL program, to get them ready to
ESL
learn
is-
English, and
English is
English is second language. Yeah.
You gotta give them an IEP and all that stuff, I suppose, right?
Yeah, they do some testing and you know, to find out where they are in the overall spectrum, and then, you know, then
But is it-
shortly after they get here, they're taking MCAS tests like everybody
Oh,
else.
yeah, sure.
You know,
I'm
You
sure,
got the
yeah.
MCAS, I think, coming up, what, next week, Joe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
next week.
Is it-
that's
Oh,
right.
this week?
No.
Well, one of my
Next week, I
grandson
think.
was telling me,
Yeah.
Wednesday, I think he said.
Yeah.
Is there any feeling that you wish that you maybe should have kept the old Reeves? I know it's gone, but
No, that was you know, when we were looking at tearing that down, the building was deteriorating. We did a cursory look at it, figuring out what we were gonna need, we needed a new roof, it needed a new heating system. I mean, you were gonna spend a significant amount of money, and now you've got 2 schools on one site. That would have been, logistically, that would have been real difficult.
Yeah, nightmare, yeah.
And going back to the clap, you don't ever see that clap coming back online.
No, that's
You
not
don't
gonna
see
happen.
that.
I don't see that
Or
happening, no.
the school committee doesn't see that.
No.
It's under your control now, though.
Right now, yep, because we haven't told the city council that, we don't want the building anymore.
And roughly, what's that costing to take care of that?
Not too, I mean, we maintain minimal heat and electric in there, just for the alarm systems and things like that. We do there's minor vandalism that takes place, a lot less now than before, so, maybe 20,000, 24,000 a year.
Yeah, take care of it.
Yeah.
Well,
We do building checks on it.
I haven't got the answer for that west side. I know that somebody said to me, what, they're banging off the wall over there, and I said, gee, why? And then I figured that, well, some parents may be opting, we'll say like Warren Avenue or up in we'll call it the hilly section, that would normally go to the clap,
Yeah.
and now should either go to Goodyear, but they're opting to go to the Reeves, but
Yeah,
you
well,
s-
there has to be room, they have to get approval of the principal, so, if that's taken place, I'm not
Okay.
familiar with that, but, one of the other issues that people ask us about, well, is it because of school choice, which
Yeah.
allows people from other cities and
Come
towns
in-
to come,
come in.
but we don't participate in that, so.
Did the school committee approve the principal there to have her children come to that school with her? That was,
Not to my knowledge, no.
they haven't done that yet?
No.
They're still talking about it?
I'm not even sure it's discussion. The meetings that I've been to, it hasn't been discussed.
Because I was watching that, and I read in the paper, she is a very liked person.
Right.
And where's she come from, Eddie, Watertown or
No,
Newton?
Concord.
Salem. I thought she lived in Salem, Saugus area.
Now Salem is the one that's gonna be the
She's the one.
planning board director.
No, but she's
Oh,
up
you
in that
mean
area,
this-
I
this
believe.
principal over there
Principal
now?
over there, yeah.
Well, her whole history's been in Concord, though.
Right,
She was-
but I
she was a
think she's
teacher
from,
and
I
all
think
that
she's from
stuff, yeah.
Salem.
She wanted to have her children come to
Yeah.
the.
Yeah,
We've
what's
had
the-
that request before, but it's always been turned down. I don't-
Oh, it has?
Really,
Yeah.
yeah? That'd be kind of cool. I mean, why, take the kid with you to school? I don't know,
Yeah.
that's,
Joe,
there must be a
I mean, it's a
reason.
numbers issue. I
Joe,
believe.
the assistant principal now, let's talk about that, because we know Finnegan here
Yeah.
has asked a number of years for Brian Shaughnessy's position.
Right.
And I think the school committee was somewhat favorable a couple of times, but between the mayor and the city council, it was cut out. If this assistant principal takes place into the Reeves, will that then cause any disruption of the other schools saying, well, the Reeves has it, why shouldn't I get it here at the White, or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's, based on the fact that that is our largest elementary school by far. I mean, just significantly bigger than the other schools.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
somebody said, I'll tell you, somebody said they wouldn't be surprised if they saw a portable put back on there.
No, I don't think
No.
we're at that point, no.
Now, there still is the lot on Russell Street, the
Right.
Taki School lot, which there is a disagreement between, say the school department and the city and the housing authority.
Who owns it?
Who owns it?
Well, my understanding is it's the housing authorities.
Well, that's my understanding. There was a deed that was drawn up when Timmy Dever was the alderman, and I'm trying to think before him was Pasquarel, Eddie
yeah,
Pasquarel,
yeah.
and that deed was drawn up, but I've seen the deed, but it never got recorded.
We were looking at for one of the schools at one point in time, we were thinking about putting portables up there to solve the problem when we were building the new schools.
Yeah.
Leave them there, move kids in there, and then move them into the new schools.
Yeah.
But, and then we found out that Woburn Housing had that, so we dropped that whole
Well,
issue.
Bob McNabb feels very strongly in the issue. I happen to sit on the board there with him for 3 or 4 years, so I know that, and him and I had discussions. He's very strongly that it's belongs to, we'll say, under the housing authority.
Yeah,
What's he think he's gonna do with it?
Well, there was a feeling under Pascarell when he was the alderman, they were gonna build 7 or 8 or 9 senior living, in a horseshoe type of thing.
Yeah.
And then have a meeting room there that could be used for civic stuff in the west side. And, I think it was the most they could probably.
I
it's
want a
not
high
big
rise, I
lot.
want a high rise, 7,
do?
8 stories high, yeah. Big hot top parking lot, big tall building,
Over there?
yeah.
Eddie, that's the Sunset
Oh,
one, you
yeah, I
can't do
forgot,
that.
the
we got a
Sunset
call,
Road.
this goes back about 4 years, a car dealership was calling us.
For
They
over there?
wanted
want
they
buy-
wanted to rent the land
Don't
to
park
store
their cars.
vehicles over there.
That's a big problem too, storing cars, that's
Yeah.
a big problem.
But Joe, it's always. I think of you and I. Forget you.
Yeah,
I forget you and I. We go back. Geez, I was asking Joe how his wife Jeannie was doing. His father worked at the White Spot. Was a chef. Did you know this? And
I think
and
I
I
did.
worked at the White Spot.
I think I did.
Yeah,
Jimmy Garbino,
yeah.
Yeah, Garbino,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Garbino.
Yeah, how's
Geez,
that?
He was a
Yeah.
good guy, Garbino.
yeah,
Yep.
and so.
yeah, I remember that.
So anyways, I go back. We're connected a little bit.
Oh, yeah, you're
Yeah.
connected, all right.
And
You are,
and
you're
over the years,
connected.
we've stayed connected.
Yep.
The Lions, through the Lions. We're old-time Lions guys now.
That's right.
That's good,
Yeah.
that's good.
But,
Wow, let's just change it now. We got all these young people coming into the city of Woburn, you have to call them immigrants from different countries. They come in, you have to provide, you have to educate them, that's the
Yep,
law, you have to
absolutely.
educate them. So now that's a money situation
Yep.
that we don't know how that goes from year to
Yeah,
year.
I mean,
because we don't know who's coming in.
Yeah, we
Now, we
don't.
get the same thing with the other point is with the IEPs and the kids that are, have to be taken care of.
Yep.
Well, I don't know what's the word for.
Exceptional
Yeah,
kids,
exceptional
exceptional
kids,
children.
is that what we call them
Yeah.
now?
Yeah,
but-
and they do a lot of IEPs, and we've got a lot of kids that are going out of district because we don't have the, we
Does
don't
that
have the
number ever go
programs.
down?
Nah, no,
No,
not since I've been
no,
here.
not-
It's
never goes
hasn't
down.
gone down, no.
I mean, even if you had the same amount of children, say you were sending 2 or 3 off to New Hampshire or New York or someplace to a special school, that could stay the same, but the rate this guy charges at his school out in New York could go up, so that
Oh,
means you gotta
yeah,
pay.
Yeah, plus you gotta, in a lot of instances, you've gotta pay for the transportation to go out there.
Yeah,
But I tell you, being around those kids and stuff like
Yeah.
that, they're unbelievable.
oh,
great.
they're unbelievable,
they're
yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah.
they can't be any nicer, and just,
Yeah.
your heart breaks to see them.
And one of the things that goes on here in this school here, I think they have they have Lions Club, kids. They have Kiwanis, they have Rotary.
Yep.
I think they get something like 45 clubs,
In this
Oh,
school.
we've got
in
quite
this
a bit,
school.
yeah.
And now, these kids really relate, they got mentors and everything, but they relate to those kids that are having trouble.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanna tell you,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not like when I was in school,
Yeah.
They shipped them off to trade school. That was what trade school was, they ship.
Yeah.
You go to trade school.
Well,
you
I don't know if you remember about 3-4 years ago at the high school at graduation, there was one of those kids, exceptional children.
Yeah.
She graduated, and the whole place, the whole graduating
Yeah,
class,
wow,
stood up and
yeah.
gave her a standing
Yeah,
ovation.
yeah.
I mean,
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You're right. It's a heartbreaking situation
Yeah.
for the parents. But I always think, I've said this to Paul before, I didn't know the lady that was in charge of, what division is that over there? What's that called?
special education.
Special education,
Yeah.
right. Okay, well, she just retired, right?
Chris
So
Linehan.
now we get a new young kid in there, I
Yeah.
suppose. I call anybody younger than me as a kid. So that's a tough job. There's
Oh.
the fiduciary responsibility there, huh?
It's
Because I'm saying,
Yeah.
you gotta spend more money on my child.
Yeah.
And the mayor's saying, cut that money.
I give the mayor credit.
I mean,
He's-
I'm not
he,
dismissing anybody, yeah.
but he is, over the course of the last few years, we've beefed up that program money-wise to where it should be. You know, we were kind of, not shortchanging it, but we would run into problems during the year and would have to take money from the regular education to spend on special education. But he's given us the money to take care of that. And he's given us quite a bit of money for special education.
What's your deficit there now, Joe?
Right now, we're okay.
You are, as
yeah,
he's-
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we're
that's
not
it.
going
That's
to have any
it.
problem. We had a couple of accounts that might be a problem, but we'll be fine taking care of those with the budget that we have now.
Now, the two new school committee members, I imagine you know both of them.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Yeah.
And
Crowley, she didn't have any learning curve, right?
No.
She must have
Learned
learned
from
that
her
right
father.
from her father, right there, at the kitchen table.
Yeah, they're doing great.
right?
I mean, they're chairman of a couple of subcommittees, and they've gone right in there.
Joe Demers
running.
is a good guy.
Yeah, yeah, both of them.
I interviewed him during the election time, and I was surprised. I thought he was just another, like a criminal justice kid that went to school, you know what I mean? And he graduated. But he got a degree in education from Providence University.
Oh, I didn't
So
know
he-
that. Yeah.
So he's right there with the education part of it. Yeah, good kid too. Very good kid.
when they had the Don Manzelli telethon here,
Yeah.
I came up to give a check from the Woburn business, and then also from my wife and I. And Rick Meadows was out
Yeah.
waiting out here in the area in the library.
Yeah.
So he looked at me, and I looked, and he came over to me, and I shook his hand. And I said to him, he said, "How are you?" I said, "Good." I said, "Now let me tell you something." And he said, "What?" I said, "I don't like what I read." I said, $3.5 million. And I said, you know, yeah, the budget and, you know, like that. I said, "You got to think of us," meaning me.
Yeah.
I said, "I'm getting old now," you know. And he says, yeah, no. I said, "Don't forget us." And he, no, but he said, "We're going to educate these kids so that they'll be able to take care of you."
Yeah.
And I said, "I won't be here, you know, when they get their full education." So he went around to somebody, and somebody said something to him, and he says, "Oh, it's budget time. Everybody's after us."
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, so he looks like he's doing pretty good. Well,
Yeah,
he's-
he is.
Kids,
All
kids
of them.
has been his life.
Yeah.
You know, at the
Yeah,
boy,
he's
you
was at the
interviewed
Boys
him, Eddie,
Club
at the
and,
Boys and
yeah.
Girls Club.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
did it.
and
He's a good guy. Now, the some group of people in the community, some of the people recognize everybody's name on the list. Joe Crowley, they got an administrator. They're going to write grants.
Yes.
You know, they
Yeah.
set up a committee
Right.
where they're going to raise money
Yeah.
for. It's hard to. I get to a certain point. I have difficulty understanding, but they're going to raise money, and I guess if the school department needs money in a certain area or whatever, they're going to donate it to the city. So they say they can raise $1,000, a lot of money, maybe buy some computers or laptops or whatever, tablets. I don't. I still don't know how they did it in Burlington. I'd love to know how they did it up there. Whether kids get to keep the tablets.
I don't think they get to keep them, but
Turn 'em at the end
I
of
mean,
the
you
year.
got Micro Sun Systems up
Oh
there.
yeah,
Sun
Sunset,
Micro
they were going
Systems
to
up
do
there.
that. Yeah, maybe that's
You know,
right.
they've
That's
helped
probably
them.
who
Yeah,
did
that's
a ton of money.
that's big.
Yeah, that
You
is
know,
big.
so
Yeah.
I mean, the group that group that was just formed, the basic premise behind that is to not so much for it's more for teachers to come in and apply for grant money from this group, similar to what Cummings Properties does. With that.
And the money would be
put a
in-
grant together.
in that group.
Yeah, that, and it
It's
has,
not to go out to state or federal or.
no, it has nothing to do. They're separate and distinct from the school system, and they'll determine based on the applications that the teachers would provide, who will get the monies on
There's,
But does the superintendent get to say, "Get out of here"?
No.
Nobody gets it. They just give
Well,
them money.
the superintendent is on that board, but he's only one vote on that board. So if they say that
They
teacher
want
A they like this particular project,
Yeah.
and they vote for it, whether the superintendent votes for it or not, that teacher would get that money.
So I wonder how that works. It's just would that be considered like just a donation to the Woburn School Department? Then they give the money to you, And you distribute it to the
No, it's
teachers?
grant money, it would have
Goes
to go in
right straight from them to the
would
teacher?
go into a separate account, it would be handled separately. It may be on our books, but it would be a separate account for that particular teacher.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Similar to what we get from, the grants we get from the federal and state government, they have to be accounted for separately.
All separate.
Yep.
Would that group be classified as a nonprofit or?
Yeah,
Free
that's-
or-
They've already filed, they've got all
Oh,
their
they
nonprofit
have?
paperwork. Yep, I believe they've got their nonprofit status, yep.
Yeah.
The only thing, you know, I'll just say this here, I wish them well. Over the years, I've had businesses say to me, Paul, as they're coming into Woburn, can you mention a charity or somebody that we could do something for, this and that, you know? And on my mind all the time was social concerns or the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
Or the YMCA and naturally the Lions, you know?
Yeah.
So.
New Path, all those.
Yeah,
Path,
and
yeah.
New
All those
Path.
places.
Yeah.
And so in this particular case, in dealing with this one issue, I hope that you can be successful with that type of road on communicating, you know, with
Yeah, it's
large
like
companies, you
anything
know.
new. I mean, people have to see it, they have to
You
see
know.
it in action, they have to see that there's
Yeah.
value in what they're giving their money
And
towards.
Sky, you know, you and I know Skyworks for many reasons.
Yeah.
They've been in the Woburn a long time, and they came to the forefront here in the last 5 or 6 years, but they've been up there for 40 years. I'm
Since
trying to
they
think.
tore the city club down, right?
Yeah, since the City Club, and Skyworks took it over probably about 15
Yeah.
or 20 years ago. But they have been a company here for 40 years in the business that they're in. They've only recently, in the last 5, 8, 10 years, came to the city's aid in various donations. But basically, because
Right.
we got a guy that's in the Lions Club
That
that
works
works
for
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the door opened up, and we
Yeah.
have never let it close.
Nope.
I mean, if I tell you, thousands and thousands of dollars have been donated from that company over the
Right.
last
Good.
5 years. Now, that's something that can be, you know, one company would like to deal with one organization
Right.
versus of, you know, social concerns, New Path, this, I give 100 here, 500 over there. If you got one organization and they give $2,000 to it every year, or 5,000, and the biggest thing is that they want is to make sure it goes where they're giving it to.
Right,
And the second thing is give them recognition
yes.
on this, in the newspaper. A big, you know, the two words, thank you,
Yep.
goes a long way. I got Jim Major, Allen and Major, for at least 15 years, his employees, I can tell you what they did this year. $1,500 gift certificates were given to go out to needy people of Woburn. $25 a
What
gift
they,
certificate.
Alan and Mitch, what's he do? What do they do?
Engineers
Engineers, okay.
and surveyors. And this was the largest amount. He used to give me 1,000 to 1,200. This year, he gives it to the employees, a $25 bill to go buy a turkey. They donate it back.
Good.
And he goes down the street and buys gift certificates at the Moolah's, or Stop and
Yeah.
Shop.
Yeah.
And all the churches get a shot at them. The nurses in the schools know the families that are having trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
And I mean, they're a great resource.
Yeah.
You know, social concerns, the WBA is the vehicle that takes those and spread them out. And then we get letters sent back and send them up to Allen and Major so they get credit.
What about the 5-year deal for the bus and the food contract? That a good idea?
Yeah, you know,
I mean,
you
this
get,
woman
to me,
is
you
down
get
here.
better
They've been
to
here
me, you
long.
get better pricing, okay?
If you give them a long-term
If you
deal.
give them a longer-term deal, you know, they can spread their costs out over, you know, over the 5 years. But remember now, the first 3 base contract, and then the last 2
Two are just
are at our option,
Okay.
not their option.
Okay. So if they end at 3, if you're not happy or you're not
Yeah, then you can
satisfied.
just say, you know what,
Yeah.
we're
But I
going.
think, it seems to me like, I don't know anything about the bus business, but it's the same bus guys all the time. They just, they keep maneuvering around, like one guy's over here, and then he's in Woburn, then he's over here. But I mean, if you don't get a contract, you can't have 25 buses sitting around waiting for
No.
3 or 4 years to get
No.
another contract. You gotta be out there,
You gotta be out there, yeah.
huh? And the law's gotta be unbelievable now. I used to drive a school bus when Carpenter had it. That was interesting, but.
Muggsy, how'd you
Yeah,
stop,
Muggsy.
put your shoe on the street to stop?
Yeah, well, they
It's
no,
the
no,
worst
they
part of
was-
my
they-
job.
They
Yeah.
still had
Is
a,
buses.
they still had, well, we have this, I don't know what the problems are with the buses. I'd have to get Divine in here to talk to him about it, because every morning there's a bus that's late, and they come in late. You know, the kid, well, can we hold in homeroom for 5
Yeah.
minutes while we wait for just 20 kids to come in? I said, well, why don't we just go do about our business and just let those kids come in and drift around? You
Yeah,
know
I
what I
mean,
mean? You gotta
it's-
hold the whole
Could be
school
anything,
up.
could be anything.
Yeah.
You know, it
Yeah,
could be.
an accident,
a
anything,
breakdown,
yeah.
weather.
Yeah. Weather.
Weather's a
Yeah.
big,
Anything.
this winter here,
Yeah.
weather's a big thing,
Yeah.
you know?
All right, say
Listen.
goodbye to Joseph.
Joe, you've been a class act.
I like
Class
coming-
act for the
I
city of
appreciate coming
Woburn.
on with you guys, I always
A
enjoy
class
it.
act for the city of Woburn, a class act for Woburn Lions.
Yeah.
That's right.
And he's got one of the nicest wives that I've ever met, Jeannie.
No, I can't tell her that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Geez, listen to this.
She's
boy.
a sweetheart.
Yeah, okay. So what do you got to say? Watch out now.
Well,
All right, so
Listen.
that's it for this. You see the vice president of money, as far as the school department is concerned, we're gonna get him back in here maybe after the budget session goes down, and he can explain to us how he arrived at getting this money, and him and the superintendent and Dr. Reese. I'm after that, Dr. Reese. If you're watching, I'm after you. He's gonna be next.
get him in.
He's gonna be next.
I'll get him
Because
in.
he was here for the telethon,
Yeah,
you know, because I got a few questions about educating the kids, because it used to be 2 and 2 is 4, and then they come out with modern math and all the rest of it. You see the grandchildren, I'm watching them do their homework. I couldn't do it.
I can do it.
Could not do it. I'll tell
Eddie,
you right
I've
now.
done the same thing.
Oh.
I can
And
get,
I'm not bragging either, because I
Yeah.
said, Jesus, I don't know how these kids do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in the, although, you know better than I, that they got to start going to school younger, don't you think? They got to get them in school.
No,
like-
you gotta let them,
they're
be
too
kids.
smart. When I went to school from Locust Street, where we go to school, I forget. But anyway, I didn't know anything about it. I couldn't count or do anything, read or anything. Because we were just out playing ball.
you probably
all
went
the
to
time.
the Moss Street School.
Yeah, the one room. One
Yeah.
of my sisters went there, was double sessions
Yeah.
at the time. But, you know, that's the whole deal. They got to go young. These kids now go to school in the first grade or kindergarten.
Preschool, wow.
Yeah.
They know how to count. They know
Oh.
their address. They know their name. They can spell, write, no colors,
My
everything.
granddaughter took my phone one day, and I said, well, what do you want? I want to play games. I said, all right, let me put my code in there. She says, I know it. Just put my password in. I'm like, how'd you know that?
Yeah, see, they know. These little kids are calling up when their mother falls down, calling
Yeah.
911 and all that
Yeah.
stuff. It's amazing what they learn.
Yeah.
All right, we got to go.
All right.
Jennifer, we're out the door, honey.
Happy
Next
St.
time.
Pat's. Joe,